Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We are here with Marvel Rivals and we have a lot to break down in this video. We are going to break down some statements from NetEase Games about basically cheaters in the game. We're also going to break down some new leaks, some new news about Marvel Rivals, and then we're going to recap some previous leaks that lined up with the Fantastic Four in season 1 with the New York map. We're going to be breaking it all down. There is a lot to go through, and there's also some bad news about NetEase Games as well that we're going to have to break down, but that will be later on in the video. But look guys, I do ask, if you are new or a returning viewer, hit the like, hit the sub, get involved in the channel. It would really help me on my journey and this channel's journey to be monetized, which will just give more to the channel. I can invest more, I can do more, and hopefully we can expand a little bit on the channel's kind of style, behavior, on what we'll get into in the future. But look, let's stay with Marvel Rivals. We've a lot to break down. I wanted to start off with NetEase first basically statement on cheating within the game. People have noticed it and they've answered. So keyboard and mouse adapters and the statement from the team. We're going to break this down. We're going to stay on this for a little bit. Look, they go on and explain what a keyboard and mouse adapter is. We define a keyboard and mouse adapter as the use of software or hardware to mimic controller inputs with a keyboard and mouse. This method can grant an unfair edge in competitive play, for example, harnessing high sensitivity with the aim assist feature. They also go through a list of them, obviously with the Corona Zen series, the Titan 2 series. There is loads in there. So any device enabling the keyboard and mouse to emulate controller inputs, even if it's not explicitly listed, will be considered a keyboard and mouse adapter. They do go on to say that they've forged a detection tool and a couple within the keen judgment of a watchful human eye to accurately identify those using keyboard and mouse adapters. We believe that gaining an unjust advantage through such methods significantly impacts the gaming experience, as we all know, but they push on that's either for PC or console, and they will take measures to stop it, whether it be permanent ban, account suspension, removal from the leaderboards, or other punishment depending on the circumstance. And I honestly think this is a great thing that they're acknowledging. All free-to-play games, all cross-platform format games, any game out there will have some level of cheating in it, and cheating is absolutely going nowhere. People just want to either ruin other people's experiences or just lie to themselves about how good they are at a game, having an unfair advantage. And I think if they can just get a grip on this and really set an example, it will show the likes of games like Call of Duty, that is rampant now currently, how easily they can actually be identified as cheaters and ban them from their games, instead of just letting them run rampant or letting so-called professionals or pros actually use this to keep their game alive and keep the hype train going on their game. It seems like NetEase Games is really going to try their best to actually stamp this out. A little bit on the negative side with NetEase Games and Marvel Rivals, evidence mounts that Marvel Rivals steadily places losing players in bot matches, and I know because I'm a loser. This was released for the PC gamer, and I had to bring this into it because if you ever go into quick play, you'll notice that there's a lot of bot games in there. Whether or not that's in ranked, I have no idea, but I had noticed that quick play isn't really that fun, so I jumped straight into ranked just to get a bit more competitive edge, and I want to learn and get better at the game overall. But it seems to be like nearly 1 in every 2 games seems to be a bot match. But that's out there. We also move on to some of the leaks now. So huge Marvel Rival bug now punishes players for having a higher FPS than others. They have addressed this. They are going to fix it. So if your frames per second is skyrocketing, you'll see that you'll get lag. Your game will kind of frizz out a little bit. It hasn't really happened to me, but you can obviously lower your FPS down just to kind of give you a little bit more stability in the game. But it is a bug that is currently in the game, and it seems like it's growing a little bit. It is happening to people more and more regularly. People I've spoke to, people I play with, they've suffered from that. So just be aware of that. That is a bug in the game. Also, we move on to another leak where Marvel Rivals dev promise a new hero every month and a half to keep everything exciting. Look, that's from Marvel Rival Leaks. It's not actually a leak. They actually come out and promised this as well. So it's great to see that we'll get a hero every month and a half. Look, we know on the second half of this, because we got 2 heroes at once, we're going to get the other half of the Fantastic Four. But going after that, we might get a hero every month and a half, because it's a 3-month span of each kind of season. So it makes sense that we'll get a new hero. And then a concept for a leaked hero was Nightcrawler, and this would absolutely be sick in the game. I'd be really excited, but this concept looks absolutely insane. And the reason I'm bringing in Nightcrawler, I'm bringing in the X-Men, because we have leaks about the X-Men, just like we did in season 1 with the Fantastic Four, and it turned out those leaks seem to be extremely accurate and turned out to be true as well. A little bit more of a leak on Magneto, and he says the XOX leak says he did a little bit more digging, and what we covered in our previous video on Magneto about the doppelganger ability, it could actually be for a team up ability, and people have suggested that that might be for the Hood. So there has been more changes, people digging into that. Now with the X-Men laid out, I want to go over season 1. Season 1 we had leaks about the Fantastic Four, the New York map, obviously Dracula. As I covered in a previous video before, there's been a kind of digging around on maps. So you see Kunlun, Collector's Theme Park, Tibet in Egypt, Krakoa, Arkoa, and New York. Now New York we got, obviously it does say down the bottom that was for the Fantastic Four, but what all the X-Men hype, to see Krakoa in there just makes sense that we might see more X-Men possibly in season 3. I'm not too sure if Ultron be coming in season 2 or if he will be linked to the Avengers team that might be coming in season 4 or 5, but knowing when we get an X-Men teamed push, because Blade is coming as well in season 2, he's been leaked, but if we get the X-Men in season 3, Krakoa will be a big push, and then we might see the Hood, and we might see obviously Magneto doubling up with him as well. But these are the leaked characters, and look at the amount of X-Men that are in there anyway. We have Emma Frost, we have Blade, Ultron, Jean Grey, another X-Men, Hit Monkey, Deadpool, another X-Men, Captain Marvel, MODOK, Angela, Professor X, X-Men, Colossus, Cyclops. We went through all these, Locust, Jia Jiang, and past the plot Petey. That is absolutely insane. The majority of these characters are X-Men, and 1 or 2 are a little bit outside that rhythm with Deadpool, but it just makes sense that if we are going to get Krakoa obviously in season 3, it will be an X-Men themed season, and I'd be super excited to get Cyclops and Professor X. And there's been more leaks out about Professor X as well. Now if anybody hasn't really diving into the X-Men comics, in the X-Men comics, he's not in his wheelchair, so you will not be getting Professor X in his wheelchair. He will be support, but he'll be the X of Swords version of himself, where he actually can walk and he has Cerebro on his head, pretty similar to what you've seen in Mr. Fantastic. It'd be similar to that type of mask, but it will have an X on it, and it is pretty slick. So it's great to see something like that come to the game. Look, we can see people going invisible in the game already. There's a lot of elements built around of what obviously Professor X could do, but to see Professor X and Cyclops come into the game, hopefully in season 3, really launch the X-Men with the current X-Men characters that we have in the game, would be absolutely amazing, and I would be all for it. In season 2, we're definitely going to get Blade. They've teased Blade already in the story. Now I know in season 0 they did tease Doom, but we didn't get Doom in season 1, obviously with the Fantastic Four. Whether or not we will get Doom in season 2, I'm not too sure, but it would be nice to even at least see Blade or Doom come in, because season 0, season 1, those characters with the story that we already have would make sense to introduce those 2 characters. But Blade is a definite. Whether or not we will find out what other characters we'll get in the second half of season 1, because they might hint at further characters in the second half of season 1, because we've yet to get Johnny Storm, we have yet to get the Thing, and everybody is super excited for them. This already just feels like a season, like they said, like season 1 was 2 seasons in 1. So currently playing this, it feels like this is more than enough already, and the fact that in a couple of weeks we're going to be getting Johnny Storm and the Thing to finish off season 1 is going to be absolutely insane. So I just cannot wait to see what comes out for season 2, and definitely what comes out for season 3. I'm super excited, if you can't hear it in me, the fact that we are going to get an X-Men themed season, hopefully even 2 seasons, because they have an abundance of characters. But also Captain Marvel coming into it with Ultron would make sense for an Avengers themed season, and how that will play out, and we'll see how the story develops. But look, guys, that is all for me. I really do appreciate everyone taking the time to watch this video, giving me your time, listening to this. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this information. Are you excited? Do you really want to see an X-Men season in earlier stages than season 3? Do you want to see it in season 2, or are you fine for it to be pushed back to season 5? But look, once again, don't forget, hit the like, hit the sub, and support the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.